Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on CitiTV. Now, from the festival to a very important topic that's dear to my heart, and that's children with autism. We do have a lot of autistic children in Ghana, and sometimes we don't know enough about how to give them the right training. Now, an organization in Ghana is doing exactly that. It's Autism Compassion Africa, which is a center that utilizes the science of applied behavior analysis to impact all areas of development for children with autism. Such developmental areas include communication, social skills, daily living skills, academics, play, leisure, and vocational skills. I've been joined by Whitney Hammel, who's the co-founder and executive director of ACA. Whitney holds over 9 years of experience directly working in the field of autism. She has a bachelor in early childhood development and special education from the University of Idaho, an MSED, in severe special education from Simmons College, and completed 2 additional years from University of West Florida to become a board-certified behavior analyst, specializing in the field of applied behavior analyst service delivery, which is considered the gold standard treatment in autistic training, the autistic training space. She is one of 2 board-certified behavior analysts in the whole of West Africa. The other one also works at ACA. So she's going to tell us all about her work and the importance of creating awareness in training autistic children. Good morning, Whitney.
Good morning, Gina.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Such a pleasure to
you.
have you here.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a bit about autism, right? So you've worked in different places. Do you think society knows enough about autism in general and the way we engage children with autism?
Yeah, you know, all around the world, autism services are starting to come up, but here in Ghana, it's something that not many people have even heard the word autism before. But it actually occurs in 1 out of 59 children. That's the latest statistics from the Center for Disease Control. And they're finding that those statistics are pretty consistent worldwide. So there's a lot of work to do here in Ghana, across West Africa, and across the world to raise awareness for children with autism and special needs.
How do we deal with the stigma that surrounds autism? Because when I was a child, people would say things like spirit child, all kinds of things. So parents don't even feel comfortable taking their kids outside, right? They just lock them inside.
Exactly.
How do we understand that it's actually normal and they're just like you and I?
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing that parents and families face here. There's a lot of stigma. And even if the family is accepting, maybe there's neighbors and other people. So a lot of human rights violations happen against this population. But through education and raising awareness that it's just a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's not something that you can catch from another person. It's something that happens while the baby is developing. They don't know the exact cause of autism right now, but we do know it's something medical, and there are hints to genetic components as well. So I think the more that we talk about it, the more that we educate the community, it will help break down some of those stigmas that prevent families from getting the services and support that they need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about ACA. How did you guys, what inspired you to start it?
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited because in 3 days it's our 1-year anniversary. Yay! It's been a really great year. So we're a center in Cape Coast, and we have 12 students and 12 teachers. It's actually 1 teacher to 1 student.
That's amazing.
It's very intensive and individualized education. But I've lived abroad off and on in some different countries, and my co-founder actually did some work here in Ghana in 2012. Nice. And she wouldn't stop talking about Ghana, so I finally came to visit, and I also fell in love with Ghana. And then eventually we realized that we could combine her background of nonprofit management and my background of autism education to create something in a place that we love and that is needed. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very proud of ACA. I'm very proud of my staff. I wish they could be watching right now, but they're working, so I'll have to share the recording with them. Yeah, but it's been a really great year, and you know, there's a lot of work to do. So we try not to get too overwhelmed, and work together with other people, other organizations, and just do the little bit we can to make the bigger impact in the long run.
How different is ACA from just a regular school? I mean, the teacher to student size is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But I'm asking this question so that people will know the difference in such a specialized school, what your kid will get from being there.
So when a student comes, you know, everyone learns differently, even in the typically developing schools. But we do individual assessments, and we find what are the needs for that child. As you mentioned with ABA, we're also looking at, you know, what type of communication needs does the child have? Do they have daily living skills? Can they use the washroom independently? So we don't necessarily work on skills that you would see in a general education setting. So it's very different in that aspect.
So it's tailored to the needs of the child first. So it's
and
not
the family
that in the
too.
family.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a big push here. There's some great people doing work around inclusion. Ghana has laws saying that these children are supposed to be included in the general education setting. There's special educators graduating from the universities here, but these children aren't really being accepted in the local schools. So I think that's also an area that needs to be explored further as well, is how to support these students, because I can't take, you know, thousands of children at my center, but there's many schools across Ghana, and if they have the right support, they can learn and grow in the regular school setting.
Now, tell us a bit about applied behavior analysis. What exactly is that, and how important is it in the training of children with autism?
So ABA is basically a science that applies the principles of learning theory to impact socially significant behaviors. So again, we look at what are the most important things for this child to learn right now. And one aspect of ABA is something that is called reinforcement, and you've probably heard of that before. So we look to see what motivates the child, and then we use that to motivate learning. So first they do their work, then they get playground time, right? So you come to work, but if you never got paid doing this job, maybe you wouldn't keep showing up, right?
Or I'll be protesting outside.
Exactly. So ABA looks at behavior and why we do what we do, and there's certain reasons behind what we do. So we use that to help shape behavior positively.
Okay. Now, let's bring it back to our homes, right? And the shame that families feel with getting their kids out. How do we get to a point where we begin to look at this logically, scientifically, to say, okay, my child is autistic, but that's not the end of the world. Let me not lock my child up. Let me not think I've been cursed. Let me actually go out there, read about this. Because I mean, you have 9 years of experience in ways to work with children with autism, right? So if I'm a parent or I know someone with autism, how do I now say, okay, let me learn about all these things so I can help the child be better?
And you know, early intervention is really key. So the earlier children get support, sometimes they can catch up almost to the level of their peers, right? And so the internet is great. There's a lot of different resources on there. There's actually a fairly large group of people within the autism community here in Ghana. There's been some schools that have been around here for 20 years working with children with autism, and most of those have been started by mothers, Ghanaian mothers who have children with autism. And so, I think there's a lot of different resources out there. I'll give you my number later that people can contact, and I actually have a list of different schools, but the number one step would be to talk to your pediatrician.
Okay.
So.
Any advice for our viewers on just raising more awareness
I think
autism? And do you guys have anything special for your 1-year anniversary as well?
We're working on that. But I think the piece of advice that your listeners can learn
And
is
viewers.
viewers, is to watch out for those early warning signs. Okay. So autism affects communication, social skills, and behavior. So when it comes to communication, if you see a delay in speech, you know, or for social skills, you're calling the child's name and they're not looking at you, they're not responding. And then behavior, sometimes you see different repetitive behaviors like hand flapping or spinning that doesn't seem typical of other children their age. Those are those early warning signs that you'd want to go to your pediatrician and get some help and support to have the child assessed and checked out.
Okay. Where can we follow your work? Do you have a social media handle, website?
We do. We have a website. It's autismcompassionafrica.org. Okay. We also are on Facebook, so Autism Compassion Africa, and then also on Instagram with the same handle.
Now, what inspired your personal interest in autism?
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, and I grew up in a very small community, so I was lucky when I was in senior high school to be able to spend time in a special education classroom, and that kind of exposed me to children with special needs, and then it grew from there. I'm lucky that I found my way into ABA. You know, the recession was happening at the time in the US, so I had to move very far away from my home.
Wow.
But I landed at an amazing place called the New England Center for Children in Boston, and they've been doing this work for over 40 years. And they're very supportive of our project. I worked for them in the Middle East and India as well. And so I think I just, you know, the right stars aligned for me to be on this path. And I'm happy to be here in Ghana, helping disseminate our science and help make an impact for families.
And we're proud to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Whitney. Whitney Hammel is the co-founder. We're looking at some images.
Oh,
Can we
nice.
go back to the images before? Yes.
That's our big guy, yeah.
Wow. So who do you remember who these?
That's Lois. She
Wow.
wasn't walking when she came to us, and now she's walking quite well. She's doing great. And
Wow.
quite good. So like I said, we're up to 12 students now. They range in age from 3 to 19.
Wow.
And the first guy you saw with the basketball, we're starting some vocational training for him.
Nice.
Partnered with another NGO
Wow.
to learn a skill that he could potentially be able to have a job in the future.
Wow. So if parents are watching and they want to reach out, I mean, I'll share your contact with them so you can help them find some center in their area if they are not in your region, for
So
example.
the phone number for our school is 055-347-7494. And that's also the WhatsApp line to me directly, and I can send the list of schools and support.
Thank you. Say the number again.
055-347-7494.
Thank you so much. That has been, we just finished talking to Whitney Hammel, who is the co-founder and executive director for ACA. We want to continue raising awareness to autism. A lot of kids are battling with it, and it is not a curse. It's something that can be, you know, it can be managed, right? It can be, you can't completely heal it, but you can definitely manage it.